Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I've lived abroad for 25 years and in 114 countries. And today I'm going to talk about post post chemo recovery. Okay, and I'm trying to go live, but the I try to go live and make videos at the same time, but I'm having a lot of problems today getting a connection. I've went to four different places, and I'm still now I'm connected to the data on my smartphone. Okay, but I want to talk about chemotherapy. After you have cancer, and what happened is my sister had cancer, breast cancer, and now she's in remission, I guess. Okay, and it's a very traumatic thing to the body. And my father died of prostate cancer. Okay, and I watched him get chemo. He was stage 4. He had chemo 1 week before he died. And all this business of cancer has got me really concerned. But I consider myself, and I want to know how to. I'm not worried about the cancer, but after you get done with cancer and you get it in remission, whether through radiation or chemotherapy, um, it's a problem, okay? Because you have all these chemicals and you have radically destroyed your body, okay? And but post chemo recovery. Okay, I'm actually Andy Lee Graham. I'm in the Hotel San Antonio in San Pedro La Laguna, and this is one of the best climates on the planet, and by far the best I found in 114 countries, and one of the most beautiful lakes on the planet. But I'm trying to showcase in this hotel. They actually have all the processing of coffee. Right over there is coffee bagged, and then there's a coffee. I'm not sure. I think it's a cooker, and then there's grinder, and they have the whole process. And the father here is really a kind-hearted person, and to live in this hotel is to truly understand coffee. But I'm just trying to find a place where I can use. I've lived in this hotel many times. I'm right now not living in this hotel, but I'm doing a protest right now. I don't understand. I'm angry. Okay, I consider myself one of the best researchers that you could ever be. I have all sorts of elaborate systems to prod me and provoke me to remember things like Google alerts and whatever. And I've went into doing research probably 2 months ago, and I put in all these search words that Google automatically sends them an email whenever you see like post chemo recovery. I put all these different combination of words in here, and all I'm getting is talk about chemo. Okay, and I was trying to do there should be books. Okay, if they were just as there's two parts of any kind of trauma. There's the trauma and then the recovery from the trauma. Okay, and this is like PSTD is whatever that called. That word for this is worse than trauma from even I think the military. Okay, because you're constantly in fear, afraid of dying for months on end. Okay, and so this is a big deal. Okay, and but when I start doing this research, I do all sorts of combinations of short and long tail searches on on how to have the body recover from chemo, the chemicals going in your brain, and chemicals going in your blood, the body, and whatever. This is like a shotgun. Okay, chemotherapy is like throwing poison into your body, and it kills the cancer before it kills you. Okay, and there's a lot of arguments, but I also have a channel called Biohacking Superfoods where I collect a lot of playlists. So I'm sitting there trying to collect playlists on chemo, not chemotherapy, but on chemo recovery. And then I have I'm following probably, I don't know, say 50 to 100 different people like Ken Berry, Thomas DeLauer, Eric Berg. And what I normally do is I go in there and I do a search in their channel. I can do a search for like the word chemo. Most of these guys are talking about, they're kind of against chemo. But again, this is the last ditch effort. You have to kind of trust your doctor, right? And how to learn how to recover from chemo. This is a major problem. Now you got this person that's traumatized, and they're just grateful to be alive, right? And then the doctors, as far as I'm concerned, this is a very, very big business. This is like malaria in Africa. They're not going to get rid of malaria in Africa because it's the number one profit making thing for hospitals. Like when I go to Togo, but this chemo is horrible. But how do we recover from having, after the cancer's gone and in remission? What do we do? This is not an easy thing. I've been trying to research this for like 2 or 3 months. I started really thinking about it after my father died. And that's one reason why I only use one chemical on my body, because I think my father died of prostate cancer because he put, aftershave, greasy kid stuff on, deodorant, and I only will put shampoo on my hair, and then I try not to get it on all over my body. Okay, and there's so many chemicals that we put on our body that goes right into our skin, goes through our skin and into our blood system, our lymph, and comes right out our pecker and our colon, right, our ass. And this is where most of the the settling of all these chemicals is. And I think the chemicals are, so we have the chemical to destroy the cancer and the chemical to cause the cancer, okay? And it's radically increasing around the planet because of chemicals, okay, in my opinion. But how do we recover after we get rid of the cancer? And this is, so I am in a protest right now. I'm trying to figure out why, and if anybody can tell me, I've only found one YouTube channel that deals with this, and it's in this. I'll be putting the link inside the description, and the lady's name is, I don't know, it's like Seeker or something like that. Let's see if I can find it. Tattoos, but it's very, very depressing to me. Okay, I'll start going through my notes now. Okay, so I'm protesting. How to fight this? How do we fight back from putting poison in our body, whether it's radiation or chemotherapy? How does the body recover? We trust our doctors, but they don't seem to. Their recommendation often is just take it easy, okay? Which is the worst thing you can possibly do. There's a thing called hormetic stresses, okay, where you got to really stress the body to recover. It's like doing exercise. You stress the body, and the next day it becomes stronger. But there's a lot of hormetic stresses that help us. But on my biohacking channel, I have all these different things. I'll try to put this link inside my thing. All I do is on that is watch videos all day and then try to classify them. And try to create a database full of questions, so you can search for stretching or whatever, or back pain, all different subjects. I have hundreds of subjects, probably 300 different playlists. But I'm an extreme researcher, and because I've been traveling for 25 years, I am in constant research because I have an overwhelming amount of time. But on this particular subject, on how to recover physically, mentally, emotionally, there's nothing. But this is after the person goes in remission, they need to have their brain, their organs, their blood, their muscles, their emotions. All these things need to be rehabbed, retrofitted, basically rebuilt. Okay, like the skin replaces itself from everywhere from 24 days to about 85 days, according to your age. When you're young, it's about 24 days, and after I get on my age, it's about 80 days. But how does the body recoup? But one of the things, but post-cancer, all my research shows me that when chemicals come into the body, what they do is they go into the fat cells, and they actually, the fat just holds them in there, and it basically stores them. And often, if people lose, like, say, 50, 100 pounds, they're detoxing, and all these chemicals are leaving their body. So there's a lot of things. There's chelation therapy, which is to take out metals and different things. And there's different ways to have chemicals remove the body. Richard Howe, one of the regulars on the live, sent me a video the other day. It was just absolutely spectacular. It's about tattoos. For everybody that has a tattoo, that's having a chemical enter your body. And I highly recommend that you watch this video, because this video is it's pretty frightening, but it tells you how the needle goes through the different layers of the skin. It goes about, so far down into the skin, far enough that you can still see it, but at the same sense, it's then held by different cells in place, and then it fades over time. So I'm going to try to give this post for the people that are live. I'm going to try to give you the link here that I'm reading from, because this tattoo one is spectacular. And I really thank you, Richard. You're always discovering some very good things, and you send me a lot of information that's very beneficial and on key with what I'm interested in. Okay, I'll have this link in the description to this YouTube channel, YouTube video that I'm making. I'm trying to give these people that are live. I kind of like the live because it gives me some feedback. I really would do better if I could do interviews, right? Okay. Okay, so tattoos. My dream, but what was my dream for the internet? I was really extremely excited when the internet first started. Why? I thought what we had is ability to communicate all around the planet in a synchronized or asynchronous way. See, email's asynchronous, and then talking is synchronous. But I thought that the cancer researchers would get together and work together, okay? And I thought they would be the synergy. They would share information. One of the things Bill Gates does when he gives some of these grants to different companies, I believe he requires them to share information with other people instead of waiting till after they publish and try to make money off it. Generally, most of the research that's being done in university and things is being done so that they can capitalize on it and monetize it and make money. And they don't work together, because then they all work against each other. But synergy is what we want on the internet, and that's not what we have. It's not evolved the way I thought it would when I first started studying it like 30 years ago. It's the synergies, the interaction or cooperation of two or more organizations, substances, or other agents to produce a combined effect greater than the sum of their separate effects. What this means is if you put two people together, you don't have two people. Now you have like 2.5 or 3 people, because the synergy and the interaction and the iterations of these two people kind of revels them into a quicker process of learning, researching, thinking, because they're sharing ideas, and it's the interaction between people that makes it. We should, in my opinion, we should have instead of people trying to get rich by doing research and not publishing until they feel like they had a breakthrough, they should be sharing all the way so that they sum total of this energy. But because of its monetary nature, everybody wants to be famous and they want to be rich, okay, more than they want to solve the problem. So, but why doesn't this happen? It's a trust problem. And the same thing that I'm having trust problems on. Hola. The problem that I have, people want me to trust them. And I say, how can we have synergy? How can we work together if I don't even have a clue what your name is? That's the opposite of trust. Trust is when I know you, you know me. We have a way to communicate in a adult and a thing. Right now, the world's turned into a culture of trying to cancel each other and try to hurt each other instead of working together. I'm pretty much at the point where I'm no longer going to talk with anybody on these live things unless they they seem to have a real name. Okay. Um, but it's trust. How do we trust somebody? Trust somebody is when you look somebody in the eye, you hear them, you see their face, you see their body language, and they say their full name, and I say my full name, and your name has no value, guys. Your birthday has value, and you want to share your birthday, but you don't want to share your name. This is crazy. Your photo has no value, your name has no value, but your home address, your social security, and um, one other thing. I'll think about it. But how could these researchers work together? It doesn't work. Why? Because again, advertising and money solves causes problems, and this is probably a great argument for socialism. Okay, because if they could get the equation of everybody trying to become rich out of the equation, we could solve it. But this post-cancer problem, I can't find anything. I've only got one person um, that is talking about this, okay? And it's sad. I mean, I've only got one YouTube channel where the lady had cancer and she kind of talks on a very peripheral level about how to recover. But what do we have to do? We have to clean all the, everybody will talk about detox, but what is chemical detox? How do you have chemical chemotherapy detox? Okay, so how do you clean the body of all these chemicals? I watched my father's brain become mush because of chemotherapy. And I watched my sister, rambling on, and she's two different things. She's so traumatized. My father just luckily died at the end, while my sister is alive. So the brain has to regenerate, and the brain does actually grow new cells, and there's different strategies. But how do we take all these chemicals out of our body? And it's not as simple as just doing a detox. There's different levels of encapsulation inside the cells, inside the brain, inside the liver, inside all the organs, and they're all working. And then everybody spends their whole time worried about having cancer come back, and not very much about the thing about about eating the right foods. Like, it's been relatively proven, as far as I'm concerned, I'm 99% sure that carbohydrates, sugar, and any fruits feed cancer. Okay, they basically are the elements that cancer loves. They love sugar, they love carbohydrates, they love spaghetti, they like rice, they like anything white. Okay, and this is where Eric Berg and Ken Berry and all these guys excel, and they'll tell you all the things to do to avoid cancer, but nobody seems to go after the words. And I would really challenge all these different people like Eric Berg and Ken Berry and Mark Hyman and Thomas DeLauer. I've got a whole list of them on this thing, and I watch them. Stephen Gundry, give us some information. I challenge you, please. I protest. Help people. You use your big brains you have and tell us how to recover our bodies after radiation and thing. I know that there's different treatments for radiation, like iodine and stuff like that, but we got to give a complex overview on how to exercise, how to think, how to emotionally. There's so many factors that goes into it. It's really great. I'm actually tempted right now to cut my hair as a protest. What I'm saying is, if I had to live like my sister had to live for, I don't know, a year or two, with all her hair off, wearing a hat, I'll do it. I want to work on this issue. I want to help my mother. I brought the clippers in case I get brave enough. But it's like, I'm like Samson, right? I really consider my hair part of my personality. But I'm willing to sacrifice it all. Because, again, but what was weird about cancer is 1 week before my father died, he got chemotherapy. This is a business. I took my father to chemo. They have 30 of these little machines pumping blood in there. Each one of them's charging about $3,000. So every hour they pump 30 times 3. That's about $100,000 an hour. Tell me this isn't a money making thing. They put them all in one room. The Chemo Treatment Centers, Angola, Indiana, Cameron Hospital. I took my father there many times. Then we had to get these, blood thinners and everything. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. But they just grind in a shotgun approach to chemo. They don't talk about the food. I tried to get my father to lighten up on the sugars and all this stuff. You're in a hospital. When my mother was dying, what they are serving for food in the hospital is it's like fat. It's like the worst possible diet you could have. It's amazing. And we were in like 3 or 4 different hospitals. My father was all over the place, right? Dr. Amy, that's the name of the cancer expert, and the link's in here. She says the channel is Dr. Amy, cancer expert and cancer survivor. So this is absolutely the only channel that I could find that even came close to dealing with this issue. The link wasn't clickable. Okay, so what can I do? What can I do as a brother? What can I do as a son of a person that died? I can try to, and this is where all these biohacking experts, these are really good at. They're really trying to tell you how to optimize your health so you can avoid cancer. But they're just kind of like the doctors in a way. They want to help you avoid it, but they're not telling us how to actually, after we do something really stupid, how do we recover, right? And I would challenge all these guys, Eric Berg, Mark Hyman, Dr. Gunry, please make some videos. Take your brains and apply them. I'm collecting information constantly on this subject, and this is one reason why I do lymph. I'm talking a lot about this Perry Nicholson doing lymph. Lymph is inside your lymph. It's a non-pressurized system. So you have a blood system, a heart that pumps blood to your body, then it brings it back, and then you have a non-pressurized system that is the lymph. Okay, and then every day I'm doing a lymph massage of my whole body. I do it in the shower, I do it in the bed, then I do it I use my towel to do it. I'm doing it all the way through. I do it in 3 different processes. But I'm also learned that don't do too much exfoliation. You only need to do that about 3 times. But the cleansing, how do we clean the body? We get the blood to move and shit it out, right? It has to urinate it out. It has to it's got to cleanse. How do we cleanse the body? You can't just sit there. You got to exercise. But aerobic exercise, which is the number one way to get the blood working and get the nutrients back to the cells, to get the oxygen in there, to create a optimum condition. How many people are going to go running after cancer? How many people can actually say they're back in top shape? Why did we get cancer in the first place? In my opinion, 90% of it's because of chemicals put on your skin. Your skin just is not doing it. I did a research thing. I was actually accidentally doing iodine one time, and I put it on my skin, and there was this thing on the internet that if it disappears within 10 minutes, you have an iodine shortage. So I kept putting it on. I put it on my chest. I plastered my body. It kept disappearing. And I thought, what the hell's the deal? Next morning, I wake up, I go to the toilet. It looked like I was bleeding in the toilet. All this iodine went into my body and out my urination. I was pissing out brown, okay? What goes in our skin, this COVID-19, I refuse to put alcohol on my skin. Why? It goes right in there. Wood alcohol is not for the body, okay? If you can't eat it, don't put it on your body. If you can't eat it, don't put it on your body. I'll repeat that. If you can't eat it, don't put it on your body. Right now, I'm trying to get some cod liver oil into my skin. I rub the skin or olive oil on my skin or coconut oil. But I'm constantly trying to figure out, I want to live to be 120. I should live to be 100. My father only lived to be 83. Genetically, we are supermen, but he only lived to 83. His grandfather, eating, eggs and bacon and all the good food for you, lived to be about 96 or something like that. All the Graham side and my grandmother's side lived to, into their 80s, 90s, some into 100. But how? I challenge you to tell me, give me information. It's hoboontheroad@yahoo.com, hoboontheroad@yahoo.com. I'm going to continue to collect this information. This is like my first episode of this. And I've got these things. What will you guys do to get me to cut all my hair off? And be like my sister, walk around in shame. Okay, I guess there's guys that cut their hair off without being shamed. But I enjoy the look I have. I wear white shirts because I want to be happy. I don't wear black shirts because I don't want to be depressed. What comes out of my mouth is who I am. How I dress is my body language. How I present myself to the world is Andy Lee Graham. Okay, I am on. I go live almost every day at about 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and on a very different subject. And you can see I didn't hardly say anything about post-chemo recovery because I really can only give you my opinions. Okay, I would like to back it up with some sort of research. Bottom line, if you could start jogging, that would probably be the best thing possible because that would force the body to recover. But gaining weight, you have to, I believe that probably after we get out of cancer, what we should do is lose as much weight as possible to cleanse all the fat out of our body and then rebuild it. But I'm going to come up with a lot of theories, and I appreciate your time. And I'm angry. Why am I angry? There's billions of dollars being spent on cancer, and they're making billions and billions and billions of dollars, the pharmaceutical industry, but they're treating the symptoms. They're not actually really talking about prevention. All these natural health food people are. The doctors don't talk about prevention. They basically want to make money. It's hard for me to believe that they really care when there's almost no information on the internet on how to renovate, rehab, recharge the body, transfer the cells, get all these chemicals out of your blood, get it out of your brain, get it out of your muscles, out of the joints in your body. I couldn't imagine putting that much chemicals on my body. That's why when my father died, I don't know, like 10 years ago, I just said the only thing I could see that would cause him to get prostate cancer was all the chemicals that he put on his body. And he did everything. He worked with ink on his skin. He worked in a paper factory with ink. He delivered papers. He got ink on his hands. He put the greasy kid stuff on his thing. He put on aftershave. He shaved with shaving cream. Like, I will no longer shave my face with anything other than this thing. But I'm reaching out to you as a protest. Help me. We need help. There should be videos, thousands of videos on how to recreate the body after chemotherapy. Okay, I want to thank Marcos and family for allowing me to be in the Hotel San Antonio in San Pedro. I wish their internet connection was working. I had to use my hotspot, but I'm good. I can come up with a million ways to adapt. Not a million, just a lot. Okay, Andy Lee Graham, I'm here and you're not. Why not? Hit that subscribe button and help us make the world a better place. That is the goal. But I'm not going to talk to somebody that doesn't prove to me that they can be a friend. When somebody comes at me in an anonymous way, I really see this is the opposite of friendship. This is anger and hate and the ability to reserve the right to be a troll. I have no use for people that don't come to me in an adult, transparent, open way. But this is the problem with the internet. They're all about canceling. You can't cancel somebody unless you're anonymous because they don't really have the fortitude, the vigilance to walk up to somebody, look them in the eye, and say, "Hey, I disagree with you. My name is Andy Lee Graham." That's the way you disagree with somebody. It's not through shooting from the peanut gallery. This is a childish way of living, and the internet has created a whole generation full of children. Trolls are children. Okay, Andy Lee Graham, I'm here and you're not. Why not? If you want to talk with me, you got to use your full name and be transparent, because I will just block you and erase you and give you the boot, because it's not the solution to the long game of life. Friendship is, and trust.